I used to be a guy that never really liked when people doubted me or when I had naysayers or when I had people coming after me and I had all of the spiritual attacks from the spiritual realm, all of the demonic entities and the narcissists trying to limit me and my growth. And now now in retrospect, wow, those were some of the most beautiful times of my life. It sounds crazy, it sounds weird, but whenever I get that kind of stuff from people now, it's like, yeah, keep telling me it's not going to be able to happen. Keep telling me it's not going to be able to pan out the way I think it is. Keep telling me these things because I just feel the power flowing through me even more so. It's like you're just absorbing all of the emotional bullets these people are trying to shoot your way. And sometimes and somehow it can bring you down a little bit. It can get you down. But then you always rise up on the other side. And I want to share a Bible verse. It's Psalms 118, verse 6. And it says, "The Lord is on my side, and I will not fear, for what can man do unto me?" This reminds me of the Braveheart film, where at the end he's crying out freedom as they're torturing his body. And yet he's doing everything he did, and he did everything that he wanted to do in the hopes that he would bring freedom to his people. And that is the kind of spirit that we need in modern day society. This is the kind of spirit that you need to embody if you're going to thrive or even survive, really, at this point, even just survive. I mean, take a look around, people. This is not. Life is not going well for a lot of different kinds of reasons for a lot of different kinds of people. And the reason that it's not going well is because they're spiritually void. And I think that's one of the main reasons that relationships are having such a hard time is because modern men don't know how to lead spiritually, and modern women don't know how to follow spiritually. And so it creates this constant tension. And this is something else I've noticed. You know, we us men, us godly men, we've got to start being able to be rocking the boat when necessary. If we do not rock the boat, how are we supposed to help the people grow around us? It's not fun to rock the boat all the time. No, it's of course not. Of course not. But if we don't set the kind of standard that we want to see from people, how are they supposed to know? These modern women that y'all are dealing with and that you are trying to pour your spirit into, some of you, they don't really want to be led. A lot of the times they just don't want to be led. They want to control the people. Like, this is something else I've noticed. Have you ever noticed how a lot of times in modern day society, you see these really attractive women with a bunch of like dusty termite beta males? Like, you think to yourself, like, what is going on? And what it is the woman, I genuinely believe, wants to control these men because then she feels like she's powerful. Her ego gets boosted. And she doesn't ever have to worry about these men leaving her. She knows that she's sexually more appealing. She knows. Like, how could she not? Like, let's be real. Okay? But especially when you're around certain kinds of men where they just act like you're the best thing since sliced bread and you haven't done anything other than exist. And then you have the men that are on their grind, they're doing their thing. And you've noticed, like, I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed that the more alpha male types of men recently have been single. They've been not isolated in society, but they're not communicating with a lot of different kinds of people. They're just staying to themselves. I met this guy at the gym the other day. Seemed like a pretty chill guy. Like when I looked into his eyes, I saw like a sense of righteousness that I don't usually see in men. And I saw this, at least men in my community, that is, like the physical community. And I saw this and I was like, holy moly, this guy actually like looks like he has a soul. Because a lot of these modern men don't have souls either, man. The modern men don't have souls, and the modern women are just soulless. And it's hard to watch, but this is what's going on. This is what's happening. And the haters all around you, they're trying. I think a lot of the times haters are trying to find their soul by trying to take yours. That's what's really happening. They're trying to take your light, and it's not like they want to take your light necessarily. It's just that they don't know how to generate themselves this light, so they have no other option in their mind apart from taking yours. And that's how they're going to get it. And so I think a lot of the times when you have haters and people that want to see you fail, it's almost like, this isn't always the case, but sometimes it is. It's sometimes where people want you to help them by giving you, or by you giving them what you have. And it's just, a lot of the times they're lazy about it, and a lot of times they're sinful about it. They think that pleasing their flesh is going to like solve the problems that they have, and it's just not going to be the case. You can never ever 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 resolve the desires of the flesh continually and fulfill them forever. There's just no way to do that. But you can do that spiritually. Why? Because spiritually, when you are attuned to your spiritual awareness and you are attuned to your spiritual being itself, you are naturally more authentic. You're naturally more empathetic. You're naturally more understanding. You naturally have this sense of true reflection when it comes to not only introspection, but also when you're talking and communicating with people. It's wild to me how often I get the sense that I'm walking in the collective consciousness and I'm just a reflection of that. It's wild to me how often I can get that perception. And it's not necessarily the case that I'm an inside-out mirror to everything around me. It's more like I am under the impression and awareness of what's actually going on at the deep-rooted levels of our society. And so I'm able to get at the innermost qualities of the people around me very, very, very easily. And I can connect with people very easily as well. Like if I really wanted to, I can connect fairly easy. But it's also a matter of how much emotional investment do you want to put in. That's another thing when it comes to rocking the boat and people that don't want to see you succeed. It's like, well, how emotionally invested do you want to be in? Now, when I look back on my life and I see all of the people that have doubted me and I see all the people that didn't want to see me succeed, and I look at where I am today and how all of these people in one way, shape, or form or another who I'm no longer in contact with, like I think about it as life lesson learned, of course, but in a way also it's I don't want to say it's wasted time, but it's more like wasted resources. Like it's like you're playing chess, right? And you played a certain couple moves and you lost like two pawns and a bishop. And then a couple moves later you realize like, wow, I could have saved those two pawns and the bishop for something else. And I thought I was sacrificing something for the greater good at this time, but actually I was just depleting my resources and exhausting my resources for something that didn't even really go to plan. And so that's a life lesson there, but it's also, in a way, it is a sense of like, well, shit, that's a bummer. But what do you do about that? You get back on the fucking horse. You get back to it. How often and how many times are you going to tell yourself that you're going to do something before you actually do it? I made a promise to myself about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Well, I guess 2 years ago now, when I really started to begin to follow Jesus more consistently and more authentically and genuinely. I told myself that I would try to stop telling myself that I'm going to do something and not do it. And I've stayed with that for the last two or so years. And I can honestly say that when I set certain kinds of realistic expectations for myself, and when I plan out, okay, I think this could work. I believe in this message. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in myself. I know I can do this. I know it's possible. All I need to do is put in the actual effort to do so. And I'm going to live this dream. I have this dream. I have this vision. I'm going to live it. When I was almost 200 pounds a few years back, and I was a fat, Netflix watching, pizza eating, ice cream eating, son of a gun, little buttercup. When I was that guy, I envisioned what I would look like and what I would feel like when I wasn't that way. And it was hard to do it. It was hard to do it. I didn't want to think about that. To be honest, I didn't want to think about that because I also thought about all of the work that I would have to do to get there, to have that feeling. And today when I was at the gym, for the first time in a long time, I ran the longest I've ever ran on the treadmill for a certain duration of time. In fact, now that I think about it, I don't think I've done that long of a duration since high school when I was playing tennis. And even then, I think I was quicker today. Like I went the same amount of distance, but I think I went quicker today than I did when I was in high school. And the feeling afterward, the feeling that I had, it hurt so much that it was euphoric. Like it was so painful because I did leg day yesterday and I was just like, screw it. I'm going to go as hard as I can today. I just felt like I needed to do so. Sometimes I have days like that in the gym where I just feel like today's going to be one of those days. Like I need to really push it. And that's exactly what I did. And afterward, I lifted weights and I did the most amount of reps on my bench press that I've done at a certain weight as well, that I've never done before. And that was another way of pushing myself to the limit. And again, like I looked at myself in the mirror after I accomplished this, and I just thought like, I saw the change for the first time. Like it's like I know I've been changing. I know my body's been changing. I know everything's been changing. I know I've been putting in this work. But then to look at yourself in the mirror and then to remind yourself of the 200-pound person that I used to be, and to do that, and if you're on a weight loss journey or if you're losing weight or you're going to the gym, whatever you're doing, and you have that memory of what it feels like to be that like icky, disgusting feeling state of mind where you don't even know that you're in that kind of state until you get to this spot. Like you don't know how messed up your mind really is until you're fully spiritually, emotionally, and physically integrated into one body, mind, and soul. And to have that feeling and to remember what that was like, it's just, wow, what a difference. And then to think about all the people that told me, like, I'm not going to be able to lose the weight, or, you know, they'll encourage you for the first like 5 to 10 pounds of weight loss. And then after you get to like 20 pounds of weight loss, they're like, oh, actually this guy, maybe I don't want to support this guy. He's actually doing it. And then they kind of stop. They kind of stop with everything. They stop the encouragement. They stop the support. And then you get down to about 40 pounds. And then, you know, your life changed. Like your life has changed before their eyes and they don't want to accept it. And this is just one example of many things that people can go through on their journey. But I'm just speaking here from my own experience and on a very specific topic. But really, at the end of the day, we've got to be able to rock the boat with ourselves as well. If we don't rock the boat with ourselves, it's going to be very challenging for us to discipline or to hold somebody else accountable. I was thinking about this yesterday. If anybody watched my video from yesterday, I made a reference to the woman that telling this beta male orbiter that she's going to hold him accountable as he's stripped away from his masculinity. And something I was thinking about today, it's like, look, how are you going to hold anybody else accountable if you can't even control your own desires? If you can't control your own desires, it's going to be very hard to place any accountability on anybody else. Because in order to control your own desires, you have to have accountability on yourself. And that's going to be taking a lot of stoicism. That's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of fortitude. That's going to take a lot of persistence and perseverance of mind as well. And so many people don't have that nowadays. And I was one of those people. I was one of those guys. So I understand what it's like. I know what it's like to go through these times. And if you're one of these people where you're finally starting to like really get on your path, or maybe you're on the path and now people don't really want to encourage you anymore. Now you kind of got to go it alone. That's okay. That's just fine. Let it be that way and let the results speak for themselves. And you may not get those results today. You may not get those results tomorrow or in a month or even in 6 months. But for me, after 2 years of solid working out and getting back to the person I know I could have always been, there's no greater feeling in the world than to look at yourself in the mirror and remember who you were and who you've created yourself to be. There's no greater feeling, I think, than to be able to do that and feel that. And it may not be for very long, you know, that's a feeling that doesn't last, because it may only be a few moments. It may only be a moment. For me, it lasted like three moments, 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3. But those 3 seconds of just looking in the mirror and remembering and having that introspection, wow, like it was really something. It was really something to feel. And I hope everybody gets to this point where they can feel this. And When I first started semen retention as well, last May, after like a few months, I had a similar feeling to this, but this was like today, this is what just something changed for sure. Like a certain sense of calmness, like just eased in. And it's like all of the battles, all of the struggles, all of the demons that I fought. All those days getting up early, because I get up to go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning. And that way I have time to shower and eat before my day job. But and then I do the day job, and then I do YouTube videos, and then I work on my business and other stuff and consultations the rest of the day. Like I'm from dusk until dawn every day, from dusk till dawn, from dusk to dawn, from dusk till dawn. It never stops. I haven't stopped working since May last year. The only day that I've really had off was when I went to the Tetons a couple months ago. And even then I was doing work in the Tetons. Like I didn't go full for like the full day. I went a couple hours, but still like I was putting in a certain amount of work. And we always think like everybody has this idea of what it really takes to do certain things, and golly, all you have to do is just continue. All you have to do is just go for it. And if you fail, you fail. Who cares? Who cares? You are actually making an effort, and that's more than 90% of the population. So keep making the effort and embrace those people that tell you that it's not going to happen. Tell them to keep telling you that it's not going to happen, because that'll only fuel you even more. And with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.